part of who you are is that you live out this idea of generosity, and you've done it for all of your career. I mean, for you, what is the are there parts of that that you look at and say, you know what, I'm generous because of this? Because most of us always, we end up always sort of, even if we say we're generous, we always kind of have this agenda that ends up sort of behind the screen or behind the scenes. For you, what has continued to drive you in that? Because it's part of who you are. You constantly are doing that. I mean, how do you maintain that sense of, this is my focus?
You know, Sandy Pentland wrote a book called Honest Signals that's about technology, but has an interesting non-technology lesson. And what the lesson is people can smell it on you. You can't fake it because words are only 10% of the way we communicate. All the other stuff, where we stand, how often we interact, what our eyes say, that's where we're getting our data. You know, the difference between watching a movie with the picture off and watching a movie with the sound off is stunning, right? It's when the
Mm,
sound off is when you really understand what's going on.
yeah.
So I was poor for a long time. I mean, 1, 2 weeks away from missing payroll, uh, window shopping in restaurants, really just trying to stick it out as an entrepreneur. And what I learned during that period of my life is I could make more money working in a bank. I could make more money working for a venture capital fund. I could make more money doing almost anything. So if I'm going to do this, I might as well be doing it for the right reason. And the right reason had nothing to do with how much money can I make. Then, after I was successful with a couple of my companies, I was in a different place, which is I don't have to do this for the money. That selling you a copy of the book will not change my life in any way.
Yeah.
I only make a couple bucks from selling a book anyway. It's a lousy way to make a living. But that's beside the point. The point is I'm
Yeah.
not writing this book to make a living. So why am I writing it? Just like I was before. The model is I better have a good reason for doing it because I'm not doing it to change my lifestyle. And I think that gets, particularly for people in your line of work and the line of work of people who are listening to this, why exactly are you doing this? And if you're just doing it to please a parent or because it's the only thing you know how to do, well, then I'm not surprised that it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it to make change, if you're doing it because it's a chance to do your art, then
Hmm.
approach it the same way as Bill Shakespeare or Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso didn't say, pay me and then I'll paint you a painting. He just painted because he could.
Yeah.
And if people bought paintings, that was nice, but that wasn't the point.
Do you find that your peers, I mean, those who are you're one of the most well-known, well-read bloggers in the world. You speak all over the world. You're a best-selling author. Do you find that your peers understand you in the sense of your approach? Because your audience understands you, your tribe understands you. They love you, like we love you, like we get you. We want to soak up everything you say and everything you write about. But do your peers understand who you are?
Well, you know, I did a seminar last week, and we did it at break even. You paid for the book, you got to come for free. And someone came up to me and said, "Well, why do you keep doing this? Why don't you just charge a lot? Because you know you're undermining the market for stuff like this, and other people are going to have trouble charging for it." And I said to him, "You know, I'm not sure it's my job to make it so that other people can charge a lot for something like this. It's my job to connect with people who want to be connected." Uh, I think that it turns out, though, that the people who are succeeding at doing this are almost all of them doing it in a way similar to me. You know, if you look at one of my heroes like Tom Peters spends more of his time going places he shouldn't be going, sitting on airplanes he shouldn't be on, writing things for free than he does getting paid. I mean, people like me and Tom only get paid 1 hour every week or two.
Mm.
The rest of the time, you're giving stuff to people and it's a privilege. You know, I said to Tom a couple years ago, Tom, you're never going to be able to spend the money you made already. Why did you just fly to Siberia? He did. And it took him 37 hours to fly there. He said there's a picture of him sleeping on a wooden bench at the Siberia airport. Spoke to a bunch of people who didn't even speak English. Then flew back for 33 more hours. Why'd you do that? And he turned to me and he said, I don't have any choice. This is
Mm.
what I do.
Wow. 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 That's, going back to the book, first of all, highly recommend it. I mean, and if you didn't get a pre-copy, you just missed out because you made it available for everybody. But it does come out on the 26th of January, and I mean, our staff, like our entire team, is going to read it as required reading. Um,
It's good to hear.
Absolutely, and we want to make sure our Catalyst audience, not just because we think the book is important, but there are fundamental principles in the book that, as leaders, we all need to be aware of and be listening to and reading. You know, uh, when you're thinking about the course of all your books and all the things that you've written over the last several years, where does this book fit for you? Like, is it one of your favorite? Is it how do you sort of define this collection of writings?
Do I have to?
No,
Uh,
no, you don't.
I guess the short answer is this is far and away the most difficult book I've ever written, the scariest book I've ever written. Until 3 weeks ago, I was pretty pessimistic that it would resonate with people.
Mm,
I wrote it anyway because I was scared of it. That's why I did it. Uh, I haven't written one word of a new book for the first time ever. I have no ideas for a new book. I'm done. I'm empty. This needed to get out there, and now it is. I think that I've written books that are systems oriented, strategic oriented, that are about organizations that want to scale. This one, like the dip, is about people and individuals, and it's personal. Uh, and I hope people will be reading it 20 years from now.
yeah, yeah. Well, they will, and we'll continue to make sure people know about it. Last question for you. You got to go. You're busy, and we thank you for the time that you've given us. But um, in terms of your world, and we always are very curious in terms of how you are continually creating content and your blog and sort of your entire scope of what you do. Can you just give us a sense of what that for you looks like and how you're, I mean, your blog is amazing. Like you come up with stuff every day that we all read and go, how did you ever come up with that? Like, and how do you? I mean, where do you find
Okay,
this? Where do you find stuff?
here's the deal, Brad. Start with page 101 of the book. Number two, make more bad ideas. If you had as many bad ideas as I do, you would have as many good ideas as I do. You just got to get good at deleting the bad ones. The problem is people assume their ideas are bad, so they delete them before they write them down.
Yep.
If you just wrote down 10 ideas every single day, I guarantee you, you would have one. That would be a world changer every single day, 300 days a year. It's the other 10 that are the problem, not the good one.
That's that is so true. And you just actually blogged about that the other day, and it's in the book. So, man, thanks for the time, and thanks for continuing to lead us. And we love listening and reading and watching and learning from you. So you're continuing to inspire us. And again, make sure you buy Linchpin. It's an incredible book, and buy Tribes too, and every other book that Seth's ever wrote. So thanks for your time, man.
Well, thanks for what you do, Brad. It matters. And I think that you may not hear it often enough, but people are really counting on you and you come through every day. So thanks.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
See ya.
Thanks, Seth.